It's the Joel Shit Show, featuring Joel Shit. Hi, welcome to the Joel Shit Show. I'm your host, Joel Shit. I have TV on, and that's my mama's on, and they're taking a cake out of the refrigerator, and that cake hasn't been around for 35 years. It's a good-looking cake on TV, but that cake is long gone. Even the shit that resulted from the cake, if it had even been eaten, if it was even a real cake, because it could have been a prop, long since decomposed and turned into something else. Why can't we put RFID on everything? I want to put RFID on people's shit. I want to see what happens to it when it decomposes and turns into fertilizer and then grows corn, which is turned into high fructose corn syrup, which goes into a box of Apple Jacks. I want to see it all the way through. There's an old Bloom County from the 1980s when, I think it's either Opus or The Little Boy, sitting in the bathtub talking about how he's sitting in water that Howard Cosell has urinated. Yes, I miss Bloom County. But when you go out on top, always leave them laughing when you say goodbye. I'm holding wrappers from World's Finest Chocolate. It's fundraising stuff from Chicago, Illinois. Yesterday I worked a casino party, and at the end of the casino party, the guy that runs Aces Up said, "Here, take some," and I took two. I wanted to take one of each, but I don't know. It's the weirdest thing about getting older. You don't just always grab everything you always want. It's really weird. I don't know, man. But let's back up a little bit. I left around 9 o'clock to go to the mechanic after my cell phone charged, and I said, "Hello, Almaden Auto Repair. I have my car for you because you said that the parts came in to get the cruise control replaced and the ignition switch replaced. So here's my car. I need a ride to work." And they said, "How about having a loaner car?" And I said, "All right." So they gave me a 1990 Acura Integra. Second oldest car I've ever driven. Oldest car I've ever driven? 1978 Dodge Colt, which I drove when I learned how to drive. That was a manual transmission. I don't know how I passed that test. The DMV is very lenient these days. I got a 79, but I tell you, there were some things wrong with that car. So the important thing is I'm here today driving. So at any rate, this 1990 Acura Integra has a lot of problems, but it runs good, and I guess that's all that matters. Rear view mirror is held up by string, so when I'm sitting in the car and I need to see behind me, I have to pull on the string to lift up the rear view mirror so I can look at it, and then when I let go, it goes and falls down. I haven't even touched the stereo. I don't even want to know. So I drive to work, and I'm working, and not a lot of work yesterday. It was a slow work day. I had 2 meetings, and I played volleyball, and we played for about 35 minutes, but it was just a scrimmage because there were only 4 or 5 of us the whole time. And then I got a bad set, and I went to hit it, and I didn't hit it very well at all. And instead of hitting it over the net, I hit it off to the side, and it landed in the water. There's this little pool. It's not really a pool. I don't know what to call it. You should go to the eBay campus and see for yourself. Ball lands right in the water. It's like 4:30, so we've been playing for about 30 or 40 minutes, and someone's like, "Well, I guess that's a sign." So I guess people were tired of playing. It's hard to play doubles for more than half an hour, I guess. I mean, conditioning-wise, I don't know. I mean, I felt fine, but I also wasn't running all over the place. The more mobile guy on my team had to run all over the place because they figured out that I'm tall, but I'm slow. So when we play doubles, the other guy stands in the middle of the court, and I stand to his left. So I get the left third, and he gets the right 2/3 on every serve receive. So they kind of figured out that it's just more practical that way. So I feel kind of bad because I feel like I should be getting better at this sort of thing, but it's just not happening. I need more encouragement to do better, and I'm not getting that. People are saying, "Oh, that's good enough." Well, when you tell me that's good enough, then that's all you get. So I still haven't heard back from the garage. But by now, I got to get ready for a casino party so I can get my chocolate that I didn't know about yet. And so I said, well, I'm not going to call. I'm just going to go there because they're closing at 6 and it's 5:30, so I should just show up. So I show up and I look in the garage and my car's there and the hood is up and the door's open, and I'm thinking, that's not a good sign. So I pull up, and the guy that runs the place, Ty, he walks out. He sees me pull up, and so he walks outside to greet me before I can even get out of the car. And he's like, it's not ready yet. We found more problems. It's not going to cost you anything, but we found more problems that we got to take care of. It's going to be another 30 to 45 minutes. And I said, what is the chance it'll be done by 6:30? Because I got to be in Santa Clara by 7. Not at 7, by 7. And he said, about 70%. I said, I appreciate your honesty. I would like to keep the car. He also could have given me a Nissan Pathfinder, but that's an even bigger vehicle. So I kept the Acura, and I drove to Santa Clara. Did the event for a Japanese company called Hiroba. And I didn't realize it was Japanese because it could have just been Hiroba. But then I looked at the people there, and there were like 2 or 3 Japanese dudes and this Japanese gal, and I was like, aha, it's Hiroba. So I did the casino party for them, and I did craps, and it was pretty fun. There was one drunk couple who I think were hired because they probably work in marketing. They probably represent the company in a cool light. Like they're young, hip, white guy and gal, and they drink and they smoke and they have tattoos, and he's a former Marine, and I don't know what she is. But they probably exist to make the company look cool. And so they were shooting craps most of the time, and then with about half an hour left, they just stopped caring, and they put 1,000 chips on the pass line, and the point was 6, and they made their point, and they were so excited, so they left the 1,000 out there, and the next roll was a 12. So then they put 10 chips out, and then the next roll was an 11, so they got 10 back. So they put the other 1,000 out, and the next roll was a 3. And then they put 200 out, and the next roll was another 12. So all of a sudden, they kind of went on tilt after that, and they just kept trying to gamble all their chips as fast as they could, and we finally obliged them about 20 minutes later, and they were completely broke. It was there were only about 20 people at the party, and there were 2 blackjack tables, a craps table, and a poker table. So the table never really got that full. We never had more than 5 or 6 players. So we really got to give personalized service like in those First Republic Bank radio commercials. So that's nice. It was a good crowd. Nobody was really rude, although the woman of the 2 I'm talking about got upset when a roll hit the hand of the dealer and then landed on 7, so they lost everything. And she's like, but that didn't count, it hit the hand. I'm like, no, that's just the way it works. If the point hit it, we would have paid you off. So she's like, that's bullshit. She was pretty pissed off. So I didn't really want to look at her in the eye because she hadn't been drinking that much, but the Marine had. And so a pissed off, drunk Marine, ex-Marine, who is no longer a Marine because he's on disability because of something that happened to him in the Marines, who's been smoking. I don't want to deal with that shit. So I just kind of did my job. But I think everyone had a good time, and that's what matters. And, you know, Santa Clara Hilton, right down the street, so pretty easy drive. The next party with them is Thursday the 9th at 6 p.m. in Cupertino. So, again, South Bay, very convenient. But, and then I went home. I was going to stop and get something to eat, but I don't want to go through the drive-thru in someone else's car because what if something happens? I've hit someone in my car in the Taco Bell drive-thru on Homestead in Santa Clara. And it was just a little tap, and we looked, and we're like, oh, it's cool. And then we just kept on going. Because when you're in the drive-thru with someone, you got this sacred bond, even if it's just for a little while. You're nice to the person behind you by not asking stupid questions, and the person ahead of you in line at the drive-thru doesn't waste your time by asking stupid questions. And changing your order when you get to the second window, or just the window, depending on the restaurant. Some restaurants have 2 windows, some don't. Most of the time, that first window's closed anyway, but it was a business, this is something they tried out mostly in the 80s and 90s. What happens if we have you pay at the first window and pick up at the second window? And it kind of saved time, but it also meant that people had to work both windows, and that extra labor was not worth it. So, there you go. That's all the time we have today. Visit us on the web at joelshitshow.com. Email joel@joelshitshow.com.